The Electoral Commission in KwaZulu-Natal will announce the official results in the province later today. The Umkhonto weSizwe Party has secured the most votes in KwaZulu-Natal with 45% support in that province. SABC News reporter Ayanda Mhlongo is at the Results Operations Center in Durban and joins us now. So Ayanda, almost all the votes are ready, of course, to be, put on the system as we await the final tally and official tally by the IEC later on tonight. Talk to us about that.
There's going to be the preliminary results announcement here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The IEC has done. It's concluded its work of counting, the capturing and the auditing of the results. As you said there, that the MK party emerging victorious here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal with 45.3%, followed by the IFP with just over 18%, the ANC at over 17%, then the Democratic Alliance and the EFF. So this is what the IEC will be finally giving those who are attending this very important results announcement, but also will then be announcing what the seat allocation is going to look like. Of course, if you look at these results, Alicia, no party has been able to gain a control or the majority here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So this is now done. The elections are now done. It's now the hard work, Alicia, of the negotiations that now need to take place between the political parties as they try to come together. As they prepare the coalition governments, it looks now set that KwaZulu-Natal will be governed by a coalition, and this coalition government will now need to be constituted. So this is going to be the next important step moving after this results announcement. Which party, Alicia, is going to be working with which party here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal?
But what are you hearing on the ground, Ayanda? I'm sure there's a lot of tongues wagging as to who the Umkhonto weSizwe Party will most likely form a coalition with, or are in talks to form a coalition with.
Well, at this point, coming from the province, we haven't heard what is likely to happen here. We obviously do know that these parties are going to be, or at least the provincial leaders will be guided by their national leaders, not only Umkhonto weSizwe Party. By and large, Alicia, if you've heard the leaders of the political parties that have been visiting the ROC, or the National Results Operations Center, many of them saying that they're open to talks and negotiations with all political parties. And I guess that at that level, they are then going to give guidance to the provincial structures in terms of what they want to see, who's going to be working with you in the province. But Alicia, just look back and let's look at the relationship between the political parties here in the province. We know that the African National Congress has been working with the EFF right here in the eThekwini Metro. We also know that the ANC has also been working with the National Freedom Party in some of the hung municipalities in the northern parts of KwaZulu-Natal, and is looking like the NFP will get one seat in the legislature. You then, of course, have the Democratic Alliance that has been working with the IFP in many of the municipalities as well. And apart from that, they are also part of the multi-party charter at a more national level. So you can just see that the discussions are going to be held at national level are then going to be trickling down to what is going to be happening here. Of course, there has also been, shaky relationships between the political parties, the EFF and the ANC as well in this province, although they are working together in the eThekwini Metro, but their relationship has been shaky. So it's now up to the national leaders, I guess, Alicia, who will then give guidance in terms of what is going to looking at also, ultimately what is important here, Alicia, is also the voters of this province. The province of KwaZulu-Natal has had a number of saw the protests in the eThekwini municipality leading up to this election on water challenges in the province. You also have issues around crime. Let me not speak about unemployment, which is not only unique to KwaZulu-Natal, it's a national issue. Let's not speak about electricity and load shedding, which is also a national issue. So they're also going to have to balance what their priorities are as individual parties and whether or not they're going to be able to work together. One thing that was said by the ANC yesterday when we spoke to the provincial secretary of the ANC, firstly, what was important for them is them conceding defeat and also saying they admit that there have been failures. But what the ANC has said is that they want to work with a party that's going to ensure a stable government in this next term. So I guess it's a guessing game for now, Alicia, and over the next couple of days, we will then be able to hear who the political parties are going to prefer to work with. But ultimately, I would presume, or the voters at least in this province, Alicia, want them to be put first and to ensure that what the parties have promised them, the parties collectively are going to be able to deliver.
Very interesting when you look at that combination of some of the parties that are there. I mean, we know MK is supposedly has this great relationship with the EFF as well as possibly the NFP. But Ayanda, let's turn our attention to this. I'm sure you were watching, of course, that media briefing by the MK as well as the 26 parties at the IEC Results Center here in Johannesburg last night. And we've just had, of course, the Justice, cluster also addressing the media in terms of their readiness in relation to, and I'm going to quote them, threats of instability in reaction to those statements yesterday. So what are you currently hearing and seeing on the ground, particularly in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, in relation to this, as, of course, the IEC has confirmed that they will be going ahead and announcing those results later on this evening?
Well, yes. I mean, Alicia, even here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, the IEC did tell us that there were about 30 objections that they were still dealing with as a commission related just to KwaZulu-Natal. In terms of what we're picking up on the ground, there hasn't not yet been any indication of any possible disruptions or any possible protests as yet. It seems for now, Alicia, that the leaders of the political parties are meeting amongst themselves, and then obviously the next step is going to be for them to meet as they try to sort of come together and decide ultimately which party is going to be working with which party. But in terms of what we're picking up on the ground, there hasn't been any issues. I think the other challenge, Alicia, as well, around the election and then the build-up to the election, also notably, has been a lot of, misinformation that has been going out. We have picked up that there are voice notes and messages, claiming that there is going to be protests and violence in certain areas. When we check with community members and leaders in those wards and in those areas, they're telling us that that is not true. So that's, I think, also been quite a difficult one for the authorities to try and decipher what is, false information and what is possibility of there being any violence. But the provincial commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, he visited the center and he reassured the people of this province that the police were still out in their numbers. Of course, in terms of how the police had sort of broken down sort of their operational plan over this election. First part was going to be the build-up to the election. Then the police were going to be, of course, focused on ensuring that the election was going to be safe. And then the third phase of it was post-election and what was going to happen post-election. He did warn supporters, he did warn the public in the province that the police were going to take a no-nonsense approach. He urged people and political parties to celebrate and celebrate responsibly, and he urged those who may have concerns to follow the right channels in terms of them addressing whatever concerns that they might have. So the assurance from law enforcement agencies, they are still very much on the ground, Alicia. We had about 17,000 police officers that were deployed to the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and of course course, there were key areas that had been identified as high-risk areas, which necessitated additional police officers to be deployed to those areas. And by and large, it has been a relatively smooth and peaceful election. Whatever incidents, sporadic incidents that took place, the police were able to manage those incidents. And right here, Alicia, I must tell you, here at the ICC, there is a heavy police presence around the convention center, very strict access in terms of us being able to access. So it does show that the police are out and about. If you're driving around even the streets of Durban, there is a high police presence. So the police are there, Alicia, on standby in the event that there is any incident to respond to.